Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 68 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. I am Dave, your frugal gamer of the week and resident host, and I am here with Brandon.
Hi.
Feels so weird, doesn't it?
It does. I don't have a quote unless I'm like, "Hi, I'm Brandendo."
No,
it's me.
it's a me.
And also here with Eric.
What up, gamers?
Yep. Video games. We're here to talk about video games today and the landscape of video games and prices going up and things you don't have to pay for, and is not paying for games good? I don't know. There's all sorts of stuff to talk about in here. Will a Nintendo game ever go on sale? No, probably not. Let's be honest. But I guess before we go in there, I got a question for you guys. Either one of you, what is the last video game that you played?
That I played. I think it.
You have to have something in the last couple days, I'm assuming.
Well, I did. I was playing Ghostbusters, the video game, from the 360.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because my kids are totally still into Ghostbusters from our Ghostbuster episode, so we would just listen to the song like every day.
Nice.
And yeah, my 3-year-old just loves it. And I was like going through like, I kind of want to play a random game. And I was going through my library and he goes, "Daddy, Ghostbusters! Go, you have a Ghostbusters game!" He lost it, dude. He threw himself right on the couch and I turned it on and we did a few levels. And
you had the 360 disc.
No, it's just the digital, just in my library.
You had bought it a long time ago?
Yeah, it was on sale a couple years. It said the last time I played was 2018. So
okay.
I bought it years ago. Probably 2018 is when I bought it.
Nice. All right. I was more curious of how much it was. I'm assuming it was probably in the $20 to $30 range years after it came out on 360.
$15-$20 for something
because
from 360.
They did remaster it at some point.
They did after I bought this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a weird spot right now because I just bought the Quest 2, so I've been playing a lot of VR games lately.
Okay.
So my last game was a VR game, and it was I forgot what it's called. It's a zombie shooter though. It was pretty fun. But I've been checking out a ton of stuff.
They're fairly inexpensive, right? I haven't seen the Oculus store.
Depends what you get. The max range is about $40. Those are the expensive ones. Lower range is $20. You can find some $10, $20 ones too.
Because they're not as long or extravagant experiences as the regular game.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Well, we'll just say that, if you were back in 1980 and you bought, we'll say, Lock and Chase for the Intellivision, you'd have paid $142 and adjusted for inflation compared to the easiness that you guys just skate into gaming. So.
Yeah.
There's so many options these days. It's kind of weird to see when you adjust old games for inflation, but
well, it's true.
That's a little bit about what we'll be getting into here today. So
yeah, we can.
Why don't we take a quick break and then dive into some games after this? And we are back to talk about video games and why they're so expensive and how they wrangle your money away from you and why it is the best hobby to have, hands down. So we had a little question to kick off this little episode. Eric, you had something you wanted to ask us.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the value of a game here, and I was just curious, if you can remember, what was the last full price AAA game you bought on release day? And that's the key. So $60, $70
on release day?
$60, $70 game, yes. Like, super excited, super anticipating, because I feel like I know the three of us don't typically buy $60, $70 games when they come out on release day. I mean, I used to, if I was like super excited for a game, if I was anticipating it all year, like I have to play it, but as I've gotten older, I've been a lot more choosy with the games that I buy, especially since, with
There's
the
so
new
many
generation.
Coming out now, too.
There's so many coming out. New generation, they had the $70, the $10 price jump from 60 to 70. So it's like you have to pick and choose which ones you want to play right away. And if you care about like being part of the conversation when they come out, when they first release,
that is true.
and that's definitely part of it, something to consider. But yeah, I'm curious if you guys actually remember which is the last one that you bought.
Halo 3. I was excited.
Oh
to
my
play,
god, it's been that long.
And I
What?
went to the store that day it came out, and I went there and I picked it up at Target. I went home and played it.
Not even like a Call of Duty.
And I'm
or,
trying to think.
nothing?
My brother asked me to wait in line with him to get Skyrim. And I was like, I've never waited in line for a game before. And I'm like, I really liked Oblivion, and I wasn't really excited to play Skyrim. But I was like, whatever. I'll wait in line with him. I got it, played it that night, didn't like it, and then I picked it up 6 months later and fell in love with it. And it's like one of the greatest games of all time. But that was just
one night turned you off.
That's crazy.
I just wasn't in the headset to play an epic fantasy game by them. I just wasn't in the right I was still like kind of getting over playing some Oblivion, but that was like the last. I don't really do that. I don't buy games. And then you guys are talking about how many games there are. That means my backlog is. I'm still trying to survive, trying to get through these big heavy hitters and all this stuff, plus Game Pass and all these things. That just I don't have. I'd have to stop playing and just buy this game and play it right there, day and date. And it's just crazy. I don't do that.
So big that they're ridiculous. Like Valhalla was like it's like 100 hours, to finish it. Or you were just playing Odyssey. How many hours did you play in Odyssey?
Right. I'm still working through it. I did the campaign, but like there's like other side quests that are just as big, and yeah, it's just a different. I don't know.
My Skyrim launch could have been any more different. That was a day oneer, and I took the day off from work.
Oh, nice.
And it was pre-kids, so I just sat there.
Oh,
and
those were the days.
Put in like 12 hours of that, but
I think the only two games I've done midnight releases on are GTA 5 and Fallout 4. Actually.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Nice. The old midnight release; those were great.
Oh yeah, it was like an event.
Back in the day.
Waiting outside of GameStop with all the other nerds.
You get some free swag. You get like a poster.
Yeah, they made it. Yeah, they make it like an event. It was fun.
Very smelly event sometimes. I think I was thinking back. You said like joining in the conversation. I think Elden Ring was probably the closest to launch. Like as soon as I started hearing how great it was and how massive it is, I bought that one fairly quick.
That must be my last one too.
The only last day one I think I had, because I had it pre-ordered, was Cyberpunk. And
bet you regret
that one
that.
wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I finished it eventually. I gave up after like a car like appeared in front of me as I'm driving down the street, and I'm like, all right, this is just asinine. So that one was kind of regretful, but I did finish it eventually, so I don't feel that bad. But
yeah, Elden Ring has to be mine because that was part of the reason why I bought it. I don't think I bought it on release day, but again, soon after. It's because like everybody was talking about it. I wanted to be part of that conversation. I wanted to see what this game was about. So that is probably why I picked that up. Before that, it's been a while, at least a year. It's funny, I was super excited for Deathloop, but I think one of the only reasons that I wanted to buy that game was because it was coming out on PS5, and at that time, like, there wasn't many games coming out on PlayStation 5, so I'm like, I want something to play on this new console that I just bought, so I'm going to buy this game when it comes out. And then I ended up playing, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 hours of it, and I haven't gone back to it since, so.
It is so good. You gotta get back in there.
I know. I definitely do. But yeah, I feel like that's a good place to kind of jump off of. Because, I mean, why are we so frugal with our money these days about buying full price games?
Well, there's one thing that, I mean, stuck in my brain is like the first thing I wrote down is that quality does not equal cost.
It's true.
That's
100% true.
Like the biggest crux of this whole conversation is, the value of it, but you could have a $20 game that you buy on Steam or whatever, and you put in that 100, 200 hours, or you could have a $60 game that, is too massive for you, and you get scared of Elden Ring and you put it down after 5 to 10. Even though it's so good.
It is,
Yeah,
But
and
no,
it's
that's
subjective.
a bad
but
example.
yeah,
But,
no, I feel you for that for sure.
but even like the Nintendo games, like I know we're gonna come across this at some point. Nintendo games never go on sale, but they're always at $60. And I mean they're Nintendo games, so they're solid.
that Nintendo
Usually.
seal of quality means something. I mean, they don't
Sometimes.
do that anymore, but I feel like they still do try to release finished games, and that is part of the conversation as well.
Totally agree.
Sometimes you're paying full price for an unfinished game, like you said, Dave, Cyberpunk. When that game came out, it was a broken, buggy mess, and people were mad because they paid the full $60 for it.
But I did notice that there's one thing that Nintendo does not do that everybody else does, and those are the ones that lose. I don't. Their price takes a dip, right? So Nintendo only focuses on gameplay. They don't really spend much time on story and crazy dialogue, right? Like a lot of their big hitting games, the main character doesn't talk. And so they're not really worrying about like, they might have RPG elements in some of their games, maybe, but I've been playing my Switch again lately and they're timeless because it's about the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
They're just fun to play. And I think everybody else, Last of Us, God of War, Halo, any of those games, they have a story. Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, they lower in price because I think they have stories. And I think once the story is out and nobody's talking about it, it's not, I mean, the gameplay is there, but they make another one and they make another one. And it's like it seems like they're kind of hurting themselves by doing that, where Nintendo doesn't, I don't know what the answer is. I just think that it's interesting that Nintendo just doesn't have these stories. They just have these games that just have incredible gameplay with fun levels. And people just can't keep playing them.
They just don't pay voice actors. They don't have those. I'm assuming they're
paid Charles Martinet the big bucks.
I mean, it could be just the fact that people don't want to replay the story again. So it's just
I was gonna say,
you will play a level again without
replay value too.
Yeah.
Once you play through a story of a game, that's it. You know, like you might come back a couple years later down the line when you're like, oh, I really like that game. I want to play through the story again. But you know, something like that, the story is all it has going for it. But yeah, like you said, gameplay with Nintendo, if you're hopping around in Mario Odyssey, that doesn't get old, you know? Like you just want to keep going, you want to collect all the moons that there is to collect, and like that's worth it to pay, to me anyways, it's worth it to pay that full price. Even though, yeah, obviously, Nintendo is ridiculous sometimes with their pricing when their games never ever go on sale. And if it is on sale, it's like a 20% discount, or it's down to $40 is about the lowest you'll find.
Lowest. You'll rarely
Absolute
see that.
lowest.
It's like $5 off.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get them down to. I got Link's Awakening for like 30, and that was a steal. But like even when they got away from the cartridges got really expensive back in the day.
Oh, did they?
Like back in the mid to late 90s, like they were $60-$70 for the cartridge games, because
some of them were even more, like $80-$90. Like specific games they would release at higher price points, and I mean, with inflation these days, it's even more. So it's interesting to think that the price of video games is sort of normalized now, like even with inflation and everything. Obviously with the new generation, we've seen the 60 to 70 price jump, but like games were $60 for a long time.
Yeah, like back in the 90s, how much was a gallon of gas? And
Right.
now how much is a gallon of gas?
Yeah, okay,
Like,
sure.
you know, video games are,
I get that.
they're not making that kind of jump, but like, you know, they're still using the same technology and the same like delivery system. Like you just put in a disc in the console. Now they don't even have to make discs anymore. Like you're just cutting all that.
That's probably part of it
stuff
too, is like games can be released like purely digitally nowadays. Those manufacturing costs of discs and cases, like you take all that out when you just release a game digitally, and you can sell it for a lower price. I mean, we see that with indie games all the time. Like like some of the best games you can play are $20, $10-$20, and
It's weird. If you have
digitally.
Game Pass, you can buy this game and own it for like $20 off, you know? So like there's all these things you can do to adjust the pricing. And it's interesting seeing all these things coming together now. Old school ways of pricing, you know, the unofficial fixed pricing of video games, and, you know, but now they're digital, and you have subscriptions in there. You have free to plays, DLCs,
Season passes.
You know? Yeah.
Well, that brings up an interesting point because like video game ownership these days is very weird.
Right. So I'd like to ask,
when you buy a game, what are you actually paying for?
Right. So I was gonna say like
No.
I was gonna say if you were to buy a game for $60, what would you expect? Like, what qualifies that $60, or if not $70 that they're talking about going to? Like, what justifies that? Like, what are you looking for in that game to say, okay, I'll give you $70 because I can play, I don't know, Fortnite or Call of Duty Warzone or all these other games that are free that are awesome.
It's, for me these days, it has to be a franchise that I really care about. I feel like that's what it comes down to. Like
Breath of the
like
Wild 2.
Breath of the Wild 2, I'll instantly pay $60 for
Right.
that on
You know
release
you
day.
will. Right.
Yes.
But
And,
what
like,
is it what does it have? Like, what is it that...
It's... I think it just comes down to, yeah, like I said, the franchise, the knowing the history behind it. But if a new IP comes out and it's branded as a AAA game, $60, I'm gonna be a lot more hesitant to pick it up on release day because, like, I don't know what that game is. I don't know. It could go on sale for $20 in a couple months. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the push and pull these days is games go on sale so quickly now. I mean, excluding Nintendo, we're talking Xbox, PlayStation. Release a AAA game, it's most likely within a year it's going to be half price.
I got God of War for $15.
That's
I got
one of the
Spider-Man
greatest games of all time
for $15.
God of War 2018 for $15. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Here's what's fucked up. I haven't finished either of those games. And
Crazy.
I feel if I spent $60, I would have played them to the end. I could have spent $60.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, that's the problem. Like,
It's
I
weird.
feel like that comes back to the problem with like Game Pass. Like on Game Pass, how often do you finish a game that you play on Game Pass?
It's right.
What percentage of games do you start on Game Pass and end up playing to the end?
It depends
know.
on the game, I think. I don't know. I finished some of those, like, especially because a lot of them that they're adding are smaller indie games too, which makes it easier because if you only have to spend 10, 12 hours you can kind of squash through it. But it's almost like, I don't know, you go to rent a game when you were a kid, like go to Blockbuster, pick out whatever, something on the wall, you get to play it for a couple of days, you bring it back. Like, it's got that same kind of vibe to it, which is, I don't know.
No, that's cool.
It's so
respect that.
inexpensive. Well, I mean, they're adding games to it all the time. They take games off. It's just kind of what's on the shelf for a while. But Eric was saying with the franchises, those ones, like, franchises can burn themselves out too. That's the one.
Assassin's
thing, like,
Creed.
Yes, that's
Oh, yeah.
what I had in mind. Was like they put out so many of them, and they're all vaguely similar, just in different locations. And
Which I don't mind. I just think they're
Yeah.
too fucking big. I go to howlongtobeat.com and I'll see like 75 hours to finish the campaign. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Because Firewatch was like $15 and I adored every like 6 hours it took me to finish that. And I'm so happy I
Yeah.
spent the $15. You know, where like I'll get maybe Assassin's Creed game for $30 on sale. Like, wait till the next year, get the new one for $30, and you're gonna give me like 70 hours to do the campaign plus another 1,000 to do the side quests. But for what?
Yeah, it
for
takes
what?
you-
To do what?
so long to beat, and by
To
the
grind.
time you've beaten that one, there's 2 other ones that are already out, and they're both on sale too. So
Yeah, Valhalla.
I've even
I'm still
bought-
working on Odyssey, and I haven't even touched Valhalla, and I want to. I enjoy the game mechanics, but yeah,
I own both Odyssey and Valhalla, and I haven't even turned them on because they scare me. They just
Yeah,
sit there.
they're huge.
I mean, yeah. There's that other Ubisoft game that was kind of like those ones that I just
well, Dave,
bought
I
for
won't buy
15,
one for
$20, and
I won't buy an Ubisoft game for $60 because I know that they will go
No.
to $30 soon. It just seems like,
Yeah,
and I
they'll
don't
break.
need to because I'm still working through my backlog. So it's just like, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Just make your own freaking Ubi Pass because this is ridiculous. I'm not buying them full price. So
could see that coming too at some point. But yeah, playing playing the waiting game, as we like to call it.
Well, I guess with subscription services like Game Pass and now like PlayStation has their own version of things.
Nintendo's is $20 to give you online, and I think it comes with Super Nintendo and NES collections
And
with
NES.
it.
Yeah.
For $20 for a year. I just want to point that out real
For the
quick.
whole year.
Because we've been bashing them, but like I think that is an awesome deal. Yes, they
great
charge
deal.
for 64 N64, but whatever. But
But my question is, we're talking about the value of a game. You're paying whatever. You're paying $15 a month for Game Pass. You're paying $20 a year for this Nintendo thing. But what are you actually buying? You're buying access to play these games. But if Nintendo or Microsoft decides one day to shut those servers off, those games
You
are
don't got
gone.
Shit.
You don't have anything. Do you
watching
care?
the internet,
Does it
watching
matter?
The internet explode every time Xbox Live goes down, and all those games that everybody owns, nobody can play, and
Exactly.
everybody has to go digging through their closets to try and find a disc version of GTA 5.
Like
to
if one day
put
all
in.
that stuff goes away, all that money you paid over the years for Game Pass or Nintendo subscription service, like
I
there's
mean,
there's nothing to. It's kind of like leasing a car almost.
I know
or
that.
like
Yeah.
renting,
I know that
you
it's not going to end with like, because like I'm going to die one day. We're all going to die one day, and it's like here, Jacob, this is from your grandfather, Brandon. He wanted you to have his digital collection. Would you take his sign in, now put in a password, put it in again? Like no, it's just going to be like I'm not going to have this digital thing. But I was thinking about this. How long do I care about the games I have access to? You know, I could watch anything. I could watch on YouTube, or TikTok, I could just see entertainment. Why am I choosing my time to go back and play something from the past? It better be damn good, right? We watch classic movies all the time for this podcast. We watch, we play like really cool games. Some things are from the past. There's new stuff coming out all the time. Why do we go in the past to enjoy it again? And I think to take our time, like that's where the value is for me. It's you're using my time. It better be good, and it's creating a creature out of me though with Game Pass because
the value is the experience, not necessarily a physical, tangible.
That's the thing, because you want to play the game when everyone else is playing it, because you value that the game is hot. So I'll spend a little more. I'll buy it today at full price because I want to have those conversations while everybody's figuring out how to do this and how to do that. There's value in that.
Right.
But you lose that, I think, when things are just on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're not driven to finish it because nobody's talking about it.
Exactly.
Unless it's like about to leave. You're like, oh, I better play it now.
And in your
You
mind,
never finish it.
you're not actually getting these games for free. But since you're already paying the subscription service, you're like, oh, it's coming to Game Pass. I can play it for free. So there's no like sunk cost or anything when you put time into a game that you're not really actually buying. You know what I mean? So you spend a lot less time focusing on each game. It's like, hey, I'll try this out, and if it doesn't grab me in the first 10, not even 10, but first hour, let's say, you move on to something else, and then you never really think about it again. And it's the same. I mean, you brought up streaming services before. You watch something on Netflix or HBO Max, and the first episode of the show doesn't grab you, and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm not gonna watch that. I'm never going back to that again.
Yeah,
like a Roman god, like, amuse me.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
I feel well, gamers these days, anyways, are spoiled with choice. Like
we're all spoiled with everything that we're doing.
It's so more pervasive than it was back in the 20, 30 years ago. Now we have phones and indie games and PC, and it's a hobby. Like video games, like some people play tabletop games, and tabletop games are expensive as shit too.
Oh, yeah.
People spend $150, $200 on.
You say it's a hobby, but there's people that are making careers out of it, and there's people who just that's their social platform. They don't want to go on Facebook and talk. They don't want to go on Instagram and take photos to connect with people. Like they just want to play games with each other and maybe chat and maybe so I don't know,
everybody loves games.
So people value, and what's crazy is they might see this free game, and that's just the platform. That's just they see it as we see Facebook or LinkedIn or anything like that. Like it's a free platform. I can go on there and create an account and then meet other people on here. But for a lot of people, they see that free game like it's a game, but they see it as a social network to meet other people. And it could be Second Life. It could be, there's a lot of games out there, like online RPGs, World of Warcraft. Like, they will spend thousands of dollars in that game because they care so much about that world. So I don't, like you say hobby, but I think to us it's a hobby.
I mean, it's
but
an
some people,
entertainment.
I think it's a lifestyle. I think it's a part of,
Yeah.
like, what if you're trans and you don't want to go out and talk to somebody about this? You could use a game to be that real you or something like that, so it's
Sure.
I don't know. I just think that
everybody.
I was just saying like the value of a game changes.
Even the biggest dickheads on the planet love a good game. Like
everybody loves a game.
Yeah. It's entertainment. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years, just gaming in general. So it's an easy thing to, I don't know, to socialize with and to have it as like your entertainment. Like, some people just watch movies or just watch TVs and couldn't give shit about games.
Mm-hmm.
But they say that, and then you find them on the toilet 5 minutes later playing Candy Crush or whatever while they're taking a dump. So, everybody has it in their lives somewhere.
Just don't use their phone.
Yeah, don't.
I feel like the prices of games, anyways, nowadays are a little arbitrary. Like they don't really matter.
What if the market changed?
It's
$17, $62, $130.
It's all about what you're willing to pay to have that experience. Like, even we can talk about free to play games a little bit here, but like I'm the type of person, I think you guys mostly are too. If there's a free to play game, you're probably not buying stuff within that free to play game. Like I can't remember the last time I don't know if I've ever bought like a microtransaction or like a loot box or anything like that, but there are people like if it's say it's the only game someone plays, say like Fortnite is the only game that someone plays.
Sure.
The base game itself is free, but to get the most out of it, you have to pay for the battle pass. You have to, buy the skins. Fortnite even has their own subscription service now where you pay like $15 a month. You get like 2 free skins and V-Bucks each month. So like you're subscribing to Fortnite, and like if that's the only game someone plays, it's worth it to that person. Like we might look at that and think like, oh, we don't play Fortnite. That's dumb. Why would anybody ever pay for that? But that person who plays it every single day, they're paying $15 a month. They're getting free shit every month. Not free shit, but like stuff that's included with their subscription every month. It's worth it to that person. So
that's what I'm saying.
If you think about it,
value. If you think about it as like a social platform, there are people who are just living on TikTok. They like to get their ideas from TikTok. They might influence through TikTok. They might do all these things. They live and breathe TikTok. There's other people on YouTube and they just talk to YouTubers and they just make videos and do that stuff. Same thing with Fortnite, man. There are people who are just like Fortnite influencers. They just go on Twitch and stream or whatever, and they will spend the money. I mean, we're probably talking more about gamers that are just really into it, but I'm just saying there's like a whole community, a whole world around a free fucking game, And meanwhile, other people are like, I spent $60 on. Oh man, some games I've spent $60 on, and I'm so mad that I spent money on it. There was a game by DICE. I was so pumped to play it.
Probably a Battlefield.
No, it was like back in the 360 days. Blink or Brink? Brink.
Brink. Oh, okay.
It had these awesome demos, and I couldn't wait to play this game. And I bought it day of. Got home, played it, and the online was buggy. The maps were just not fun, but it had this really cool system. It was like parkouring, it was like before Mirror's Edge, and it was really cool. But I was just so mad, and I've been burned by a couple games falling into that, seeing really cool demos and then going out and buying them and then regretting it. And then I've had an amazing time with games like Overwatch, where I think I spent maybe $40 when it came out, right? I think I got it the week it came out.
30, 40,
you and I got it or something like that, and I think I played it for a week and I said, Dave, please play this game. It's amazing. And then you got into it. We got obsessed with it.
It's so good.
And that game was like 40.
Spend another $1 on it. Like I've never bought.
Yeah,
anything
me
in
either.
there.
But that's $40
it.
with no campaign. It's just online, but it's great.
Cost does not equal quality. Like it,
And they
goes
add
all
stuff to
back
it
to that.
for free. Like we don't have to pay for anything. Smite, that game is free. We got that game together on Xbox, like what, 8 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
For 20, we spent $20 so that way, because what they do is with Smite, it's like League of Legends or something like that, where they rotate heroes.
MOBA.
They have like 100 characters, and here's like 5 free ones that you can play with, and just. But like we gave them $20, and we got all gods and any gods that they added to the game, and we've never spent a $1 since, and we still play today.
Model.
Yeah, there's
It's
like
really-
$20 I've gladly spent.
It's really interesting because like a lot of times I feel like people who buy like full price video games or not even, it doesn't even have to be a full price, but they always think about like it's $1 per hour type of value. But like you just said, you bought Overwatch for $40 when it came out, and you've put what,
Hundreds
hundreds of hours into it. So
I don't know
like,
any game I've spent thousands in.
So yeah, let's whatever. Say you spend 200 hours in it, and you spent $40 on it. I don't know what that math is, like 50 cents an hour or 5 cents an hour or something like that. But I mean, I bought God of War for $60. I spent 20 hours in it, so that's like $3 per hour. But
It's a great deal.
Yeah, the that value is not equal per hour, but
It's weird because
the experience is, it's all about how much value you put into the experience.
So
and how much you're willing to pay for it.
ever go to Disney? How much money are you spending? How much time are you taking off to go out there just to mostly wait in line and walk around complete strangers? That's what you're really doing.
Buy overpriced
5% of the time you're
sweat your
probably
ass
actually
off.
on a ride. But you're really just walking around avoiding complete strangers while you look at the things and wait in line. And you spend a lot of money to do that, You
get that fast pass.
And
bro.
like when you go to the movie theater, yeah, you do. That makes it a little bit easier. But you go to the movie theater, maybe you are with another person, the two of you go, what does it cost for a movie now? If you want to see it on like IMAX or something like
15
that,
to 20.
I was gonna say it depends when you go,
right?
but $15.
All right, we'll say $15 just to make it on the cheaper side. So that's $30 for the two of you to watch something for 2 hours together, right? If you get popcorn and a drink,
plus snacks, all that shit.
yeah, it's extremely expensive. For something that you're doing for 2 hours. So when I buy a video game, I'm thinking about two things. When I go out to dinner, like when you go and make a purchase, like an average purchase that we all make, I look at how much would I spend for a movie. That's 2 hours, and I get, I gave them like $30 with my wife to see that, and I'm playing this game, and I'm like, even if I don't like it after 5 hours, I'm winning. I gave them, that's how I see it. And then if I go out to dinner, a beer and like a burger or whatever,
Isn't that weird?
it's just like I'll drop $100 at dinner. But I'm gonna be
you're
frugal with this
hesitant-
game, but that
You're
they
so
might will
hesitant to
support
buy
for
a
years.
game for $60, but you'll easily drop $60 on a night out.
Because it's that time. Like, don't waste my time. It's weird. But then you add Game Pass and free games into the equation, and it really messes with your brain. So it's really stupid, I think, to buy a game for $60 today. Like, I rarely do it unless I need to play
It depends on the
it.
game.
What
Like
game do
Eric
I
said
need
before,
to
it's
play?
the franchise that
Like
Like-
God
Yeah,
of War,
yeah.
the new
Like
God
a-
of War
probably.
game, I'll buy that. I'll probably buy that day one just because
I-
I want to play it as soon as it comes out. And like Breath of the Wild 2
Sometimes
is another
you get the
example.
quality, and there's a long enough gap in between the games. As long as it's not like a Madden that's coming out every year. Or Creed. We keep
Hey,
picking on us.
Madden! I can't believe they still. How are
They're
people
still
giving?
churning
How are they
those
doing
out,
it?
dude.
And
Like, don't they know
it's
they can
about-
update that shit?
They tweak one tiny little thing every year, and they sell it as like
That's
some
criminal.
big innovation, and then they change it the fucking next year. So
It's about franchise, but like you said, Dave, sometimes franchises get tired. It's also about trust in like the developer who's making the game. Like
Yes.
if I know Naughty Dog is releasing a new game, I know it's gonna be good.
I
it's gonna be
know.
high quality.
That's
you know what I mean.
Very good point.
So
Like,
like
some
I'm more willing
you
to
just
pay
trust.
full price for that game on day one if it's a developer that I really trust, that I really like. So yeah,
Like Valve,
it's
if they
weird.
just randomly drop the game on consoles, I mean, like I might have to buy this. I don't know if I have to buy it like day of, but full price, probably. If it's,
I think I would.
That's good point. The developer.
If they announced like, hey, Portal, the sequel to Portal 2 is coming, you wouldn't buy that day one?
God damn. Right. And you guys haven't even played Portal 2, and that game is as good, if not better than the first one. So, yeah, I know.
Like the fabled Half-Life 3, but yeah, it's a big game like that. It's like that is one that is probably worth buying on day one. Like even it's weird nowadays too, because you have so many different video game news outlets who are pumping out reviews on every big release that comes out. So you're trying to comb through all these reviews of games that are coming out, and you're like, if a game you're excited about gets a mediocre rating, you're a lot less likely to go out and buy that game on day one.
Right.
Or if you hear the buzz on the internet, you see people chatting about how good something is on Twitter.
It can influence you the other way too. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
For certain, because Saints Row just came out a couple weeks ago, and
it ain't no Grand Theft Auto. I'm not into those.
I haven't played one in the last couple, but like if those reviews came out when they were glowing and they were like, "This is the funnest fucking open world game we played again," because Saints Row has a tumultuous history, but like that's one that has varying degrees of success and varying degrees of quality. So if it comes out and people are poo-pooing on it, then that's one that you just wait until they add to Game Pass or it comes out for $20-$30.
That's true.
Next Christmas or something. So
yep.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's how you spend your time though. It's what you like doing.
I'm glad you said that, because I was just thinking about like when we use the word value, and like you think about time, like why am I giving my time to play you? Where are you guys with your backlog and like going and dipping into your backlog and playing a game that I don't know, maybe you bought it like, oh, that's a game I haven't played yet. Let me get it. Oh, it's only $15 and you scoop it up. Like, are you eager to play it because you got it on sale? And do you think you're going to finish the game? Because like, we already talked about like from the perspective of it's hot. It just came out. I'm going to play it. I just give you $60 and I'm just going to go as far as I can into this thing. But if it's a game that nobody's really talking about, but it's been out for a while and you're like, man, I really do want to play this. I've been told I would like it. Like Overwatch, you that was like $20. Do you think that's worth the $20 for the amount that you spent on it? Because that's half of what Dave and I spent on it. Do you think like, yeah, this is worth the $20 or is worth more? Or
Dave bought it for me, so I can't speak on it.
It was worth it for me.
Oh, that's right.
It was worth my $20 to get Eric in.
Oh my god, absolutely! It's beautiful. But no, I feel like a case like that, it's on a case by case basis for me. Like where if I'm just scrolling through the store and I see, like you said, a game that's on sale for like $10-$15, I'm like, I've been meaning to play this. Let me just pick it up. I feel like usually I will buy it and then it will sit in my library.
That's
for
what happens to me too.
Who knows how long? Because I'm like, oh shit, this is a good deal, and that's where the value comes in. You're like, this game that I know is supposed to be good is on sale for a really good price, so I'm gonna buy this even if I don't play it right now. I'm gonna have it for later, So to me, in my mind, I'm like, wow, that's a good value. Even though I haven't touched it yet. There's games
you probably spent $100
I haven't touched
that you spent on that you haven't even really touched more than like 4 hours together.
If not more, yeah,
right,
exactly. Because you get those summer sales going on like Xbox or PlayStation. You're scrolling through the lists and you're like, oh shit, this is fucking
Castlevania collection for $6. You're like, fuck
the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War bundle. Yeah. I bought those. I haven't touched them yet, but I'm like, holy shit, that's like $10 for 2 amazing games.
I can't get to the DLC I bought in Assassin's Creed because I'm trying to finish these side quests to unlock this thing and I cannot figure it out. I got to go on YouTube or something like that because I've been working on this game for years, and it's crazy. It truly is an odyssey for me. And like I want to get to the DLC, so I won't remove that game. Like I won't say this game's done because I know I've invested in DLC that cost me $15 or something like that, or $10, and I got it. It was supposed to be
DLC is a whole nother thing,
soaking up that can of worms. Space.
Oh, it drives me crazy. And like, are we supposed to finish games? Like when we give you $60 or $40, like some games back in the day, or if it's very story driven, like Uncharted 4, like I'm supposed to finish this game, but some games are designed like, when you're finished, go ahead and do what you want. And you see it all over the place. Even Arkham Knight did this. I think you can pretty much continue playing out all the side quests before you turn yourself in or whatever. I think at the end of that game, right? You can like kind of end the night. But like other games like Assassin's Creed, it'll go on forever. Like Skyrim, you finish the quest, but you can just go on forever. Are we supposed like when?
I feel like if you are satisfied where you stopped, like even if you didn't see the story all the way through,
and it's different for everybody.
Right, exactly. And like if you play like Elden Ring, this is a perfect example. Elden Ring, I played 30 hours of it. I haven't finished it. If I never played that game again, I would say that I got my money's worth and I got the value out of it.
30 hours?
The time that I did spend playing it, I had a really fucking good time. But yeah. I am nowhere near the end of that game, but that doesn't really matter to me.
How many hours have we spent with Star Wars? All the movies together, is probably less than a fucking game that you played. It's right. Crazy to think about, but like we spend so much time with a game.
That's true.
Where like we will like argue and debate and live and breathe and wear and talk about Star Wars, and we've only spent hours watching replay and all stuff. But I'm just thinking with that offered and like this video game, you'll spend like 90 hours with 100 hours with if you really like it. Like Skyrim, I've given so many hours to, just wandering around, just doing shit. Recreate a new character, do it again, add some mods, do it again, buy a new version, do it again, buy it again. Like I keep buying Skyrim, just like everybody else.
I bought mostly every version of Skyrim that's released.
Oh, they added all the mods that I could download separately. Yeah, sure. Throw them another $20. Sure, why not?
I mean, Skyrim is a special case for me because it's like my favorite game of all time. But so I'll buy that on whatever console it comes out on because it's like, it's convenience. I mean, I have my original PlayStation 3 copy up on my wall.
Yep.
But I don't play that. I don't take that down and play it. I have the PlayStation 5 version. It's like more about convenience. Like, I can play my favorite game on the newest console that I own. Why not buy it again?
See, and that's probably one of the things that would suck me into buying another hard copy version of a game is like a collector's edition of a franchise that I really care about. Like I bought, Fallout 76 on hard copy because I got a big ass dumb helmet with it. Let's see where that got me. So, I mean, I could see the same happening for when Skyrim or the next Elder Scrolls. Yeah. Sorry, throw me off there.
Elden Scrolls.
But no, like if people, they put out some Final Fantasy 44 combo pack and they charge $150 for it, like people are going to pay for it because it says Final Fantasy on the cover of it. So I mean the franchise, like we said before, franchises, developers, franchises are a little weightier than the developers, I guess.
Sometimes a franchise gets handed off to a developer and they don't take care of it.
Yeah, I think developer comes way more. I say who did this because if I like what they do, then I'm probably gonna like the same what they do with directors. I definitely do. Franchises, we've been burned way too many times with franchises.
Well, I'm thinking the other way. I was thinking
if it's a
going
game,
to Bethesda, but that's a step up. Like a good franchise going to a better company, which was a weird situation, but that doesn't happen very often, I guess. I don't know. We've discussed free to play. We've discussed hardware. We've discussed DLCs.
Well, it's interesting. Right now, I'm paying so much money for stuff that I just dabble with. So I pay for, Disney Plus, Netflix, Apple Music, Xbox Live, Nintendo Online. I'm sure there's other services I'm just not thinking about.
Yeah,
I just have all these subscriptions. I have all these subscriptions going on, and you guys said the word convenience earlier. Eric, you were talking about that, really convenient, but like that is what I'm paying $20 a month or $15 a month or whatever, like these things, and it's crazy to think about, cause I may use it may, but like I will go to a game. It's like they took 5 years to make this game, cost like millions of dollars to make. $60.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I will literally go and spend $60 at a beer store and walk out with like 6 beers. Something stupid, you know, it's just crazy. Like, not that, but probably more than that, I would hope. But I'm just saying that, like, you can spend money.
I would hope to.
But you could spend money at places for a shirt, or whatever, for like $60 or more. This game, they took way more effort to make, for years, like all these people. Like, you ever finish a game, you look at the names of the people, it's like a fucking movie, where like the $60 shirt.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's like a designer and like somebody going to like some factory to pump out like thousands of these things. It's just, what is this? Why are games? Probably because we're constantly just giving our money away to games. I don't know, but we're frugal a little bit.
And there's
I just
also
finished Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh my god, I know, that game's so fun.
And that's on Game Pass, and I finished it, and I'm like, that was really good. I would have paid like
Oh, you did finish it?
$30-$40 for that, but it got a little repetitive towards the end.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a great story, great, entertaining throughout the entire thing, and that was.
There's like 2 endings. I hope you finished
yes,
it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But then I also spent like $20 and bought Arcade Paradise, which is a little indie game, and you're just simulating your own arcade, and I put dozens of hours into that already too. So it's, I don't know, it's
Dave, how much
for
like.
sometimes?
Just play what you like, man.
Yo, dude, Clash of Clans, dude. How much did you spend on that game?
Not much. I don't. That's another one of those ones. It's free to play.
Crazy, right?
Grind away.
I spent so much time on it. Back in the day,
$20-$30 maybe total over 7-8 years. Like, not dabbled here and there. Or I'd build up my Google Play account, filling out forms for Google, and they'd steal my information and give me like 30 cents for each one, and then I'd buy some Clash of Clans books or whatever. Information
I feel
is
like
free.
For me, sometimes it's a little bit of like a mental block. Like we were saying before, paying $15, $10-$15 to buy a game that released 5 years ago and putting it in my backlog, I don't feel bad about that. But if I buy a $60 game and I put that in my backlog, don't touch it.
That's shameful.
Then it's like I feel like I have to play it. You know what I mean? Like I spent $60 on this. I paid full price for it. I need to play this because I spent that much money.
Destiny 2, bought it full price. I think I spent 6 hours.
2 hours of that game.
Yeah,
and same thing.
I know. It's just like, I'm good.
One though.
I love the first game. I played a lot of the first game.
That's what I did too. That was my problem. I was like, okay, it's like that, but again, like for hours, like I just know what to expect. Like, yeah, you can like have, I don't know, it just doesn't grab me. Like, I'll give you this. Nintendo has you fresh. It always feels fresh. I don't know how they do it, but it always feels familiar. But like, oh, that's so clever. Oh, that's so fun. That's so different.
Feels familiar because it's like the same gameplay from like 1990. They just like they can use a couple extra polygons now and make things a little shinier. So
yeah, I don't know.
It's almost like a
do it right though.
They didn't talk back then either, though. They still don't now. Like,
I know
that same like just hammering on A to get through conversations with them, and then they explain the same thing that you pick up the same way 40 hours into the game after you've seen. Oh, this is a Dooku scene. Every single time you pick that friggin' thing up. So dumb.
Yep.
But yeah, what I was talking about before, it's a little bit of like you almost feel guilt like for buying a game and not playing it, and like just shoving it in your backlog.
Your backlog's called the pile of shame.
It's pile of shame. It's a pile of shame for a reason.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's just wasted money just sitting there.
I spent all this money on these games that I have not touched yet, or I played for a couple hours and then just haven't gone back to. And I guess that's one of the pros of Game Pass is you can do that. You're paying one flat price per month, and if you play a couple games and don't finish them, oh well. But the games that I buy, I feel like I need to play these someday.
Eric, is it interesting though that like are those all right? So Xbox has exclusives, and Xbox is basically saying these days, if you buy into our ecosystem, we will take care of you. Don't even buy our fucking games, because how do you not have Game Pass if your primary console is Xbox, right? You should have Game Pass because you're paying online a little bit more. You get Game Pass. It makes sense, right? And they're putting their exclusives on there, so you'll never have shame. Like Forza, I like those games, and I bought 1, 2, Horizon, and Horizon 3. I think I bought those games. And I played all of them lesser each time. You know, I really like Horizon 3, but I just, just playing other stuff, and it was just, I don't know, I'm not really playing a racing game with anybody else, so I'm just not playing it. But I bought it for like $60, and Game Pass comes out, and now you don't have to worry about that guilt of like buying a game from that exclusive content for like that exclusive game and spend $60 and not liking it, because it's just like you're one of us now. If you don't like Crackdown 3, no harm, no foul. Did you like Horizon? No harm, no foul. Just uninstall it. And I feel like that's great, and that kind of helps with that burden a little bit.
The bad side of that is we've talked about this before. This was kind of going off our
you don't
Game
own
Pass
it
episode that we did a while ago, but you don't own it, so I feel like you put less effort into trying to like it.
But why do you
know
care
what I
about
mean?
owning it?
Because if you paid like $60 for it, I feel like you would try harder to like it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like there's less sunk cost to be like, hey, I don't really like this right now, so I'm just gonna never touch it again. But if again, it's that guilt.
It's
if you pay
weird.
full price for it, it's
Right.
like, man, I'm
It's
gonna
weird
try
how
to
it
get
works
through
like
this.
that.
I learned that lesson young. I think it was like my 8th birthday. Got like a $50 check from grandma. Got
Wow.
it cash.
Oh my
Went
God.
To like, I don't know. I'm just making up numbers here. Went to like AMAs or Ames or whatever. Back then, like you don't got.
Ames.
You just got to look at the front of the
Box
box
art.
and the back of the box, and that's all you get. You don't get online.
What
reviews,
game did
don't
you get?
shit. I bought Xenophobe. for
Oh, that
the
game was
NES.
hard.
It
It was so hard. The left and
was
right.
like a triple split screen. It was
Yes.
like a roguelike back in the day. My little 8-year-old brain didn't understand roguelikes. And I just
So
felt
hard.
so goddamn ripped off because I spent all of
Well,
my
back
birthday
then-
money on that game. and
Because
I
like
can't-
Mario is incredibly replayable and fun, and like you
Yeah.
can make it harder depending on what you're trying to do every time you play
That's
it.
why they fucking had such cool ass box art, because they knew the game was sucked. They're like, we got to sell this game.
Yeah.
So the only thing these kids can go off of is how cool the front of the box looks.
Yeah, it had aliens on it. It looked like an aliens movie, but no, it was awful.
Not at all.
Yeah,
But then
that
you compare that
happens.
to now, like Game Pass is $15, and I see it gives you over 300 games for $15, just at the snap of a finger. It's such an impulse decision that it's so cheap that,
Yeah,
and once you're in there, you're sucked in. So it's
it is
Imagine
nice.
if Game Pass was around like when we were kids.
they had something like that at Blockbuster. I was watching the video, and
Oh, the donkey video.
yeah, the guy was talking about it. Where like I forget what it was a month, but
I think it
It's
was
just like-
$14.99 a month. It was the same
was
as
just-
Game Pass.
yeah, you had to drive to the store and trade shit in and hope
You're allowed to
that-
hold 2 games in your own
Mhm.
possession of the store's inventory,
Yeah.
and you can go in and swap out based on what they had available. It was like poor man's Game Pass, old school style for sure.
It's kind of like
yeah.
it was kind of like GameFly. I don't know if you guys ever
Yeah,
subscribed to
yeah.
GameFly, but I was a big GameFly subscriber.
Tried
for a
GameFly
while.
for a little bit. Okay.
GameFly was alright. It always sent me the shit at the bottom of my list. Like I want
You never
GTA
really got
now.
the top right. You never got the new. You would put the new games at the top of your list, but everybody wanted those, so you would get like number 7 on your list.
Yeah, and it was
So,
such a
game- yeah.
disappointment. You just
Yeah.
get an envelope of sadness in your mailbox. Like, I don't want to play this. I don't play a
Yeah.
good game.
I remember specifically, I got Arkham Knight from
Ooh.
GameFly. I put the disc in. It didn't work. It wouldn't
oh,
read.
no.
I sent it back. They sent me another copy. Same thing happened. Disc wouldn't read. That was the only game that ever like was broken from GameFly that I received. But for some reason, both the copies
That
of
is such a
Arkham Knight that I
letdown.
received were
sucks.
unreadable. So I never played that game.
Arkham Knight wasn't bad. It wasn't as.
I
That was
think
the
that
third
game's
one, right?
great. Yeah, I love all those games, dude.
Yeah, they're all-
Even though Knight has its issues with like forcing you to drive the Arkham tank or whatever, or car or whatever.
It's still.
I'm sorry,
fun.
Batmobile, idiot.
Yeah, that.
What the fuck was I just saying there? Arkham Tank.
The Arkham Tank.
Fucking idiot. Yeah, that game's good. You know, it's crazy. Can I say one thing? It's like sometimes I feel like it's bonkers that there are really good games that I will see extremely cheap, and I think it's criminal. I keep seeing Titanfall on sale for $5.
I bought that game
Titanfall 2.
for $5
Titanfall 2.
and played through it, and I had a fucking fantastic time. It's an amazing game.
That one they might not be selling that anymore, actually, because I think there was something with the online.
I don't know. It was up to $10.
Servers, I don't know.
Or it might just be
Who
online,
cares?
I don't
You
know.
just want to play the single player.
Campaigns, yeah.
It was one of the best first-person shooter campaigns I've played in a long time. It was as if a Nintendo level designer was allowed to come in and say, "All right, so what are we doing for this one?" All right, and just that's what it felt like. I love how I want to go back and play it. But what's crazy, I see it for sale for like $5, and I just know that that's a really good game. I'll see other games that are on sale dirt cheap. Arkham games. I see them constantly, even the trilogy for like $10-20. I saw Battlefront 1 for $5, sometimes $10, and Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, for like $10, $15. Yes, those games are like the one was just online, like or shooting, and the other one had kind of a campaign, but they've dumped so much support into those games over the years that if you go back, I think for the few bucks that you're spending is a lot, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. And another thing, some games come out with a rocky start. Look at No Man's Sky, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Fallout 77. Some games have
76.
Halo 76. Sorry, I don't play that. I don't know.
Don't disrespect.
Halo Master Chief Collection. Like years later, they have fixed these games and given you what they promised, which is incredible. I gave Halo Master Chief Collection $60, and that was like the last time I think I bought a game full price. I think I got that day and date. I don't know, but
Oh wow.
I was so disappointed. I was just like, this game sucks. It took forever to download, and then there was an update, and I had to do an update on the same day it came out. It took like 2 days to finally play. I felt it sucked, dude. And when I did, like, it was fun to play, but like I wanted to play it with people online. There's no online support. They handed off the online development to like another team that was in 343 Studios, and they dropped the ball. It was broken. You couldn't play online, and I was just so sad. I'm like, is this where we're at with Xbox? Because this is when Xbox was really in its low point on the Xbox One, and I was just so like, come on, Xbox. Even your flagship, you tried to take this thing. I gave you $60, and you fucked this up. Years later, they finally have fixed it, and it's incredible to play, and it's probably the greatest collection you can play, and the things you can do is great, and they still support it. But it's crazy that like games like I said, No Man's Sky, like,
Dude, No Man's Sky is like the ultimate Cinderella story.
Cinderella story. Yeah,
it's crazy how much they've added to that game, and everything is free. Like, that's the thing. I mean, with games nowadays, live service games that they can continuously update, I would rather pay one price, like something like No Man's Sky, $60 or whatever. I mean, I got it for like $20 on sale used. But like free content updates for years, and you don't see that. You don't really see that too much. But Cyberpunk is another good example. I bought that at full price, release day. But
did you?
With all the bullshit, like reviews and bugs and everything, I didn't touch it until like they released the next gen version, like the PlayStation 5 version. And then I finally started it up and booted up, and I'm like, this game's actually really fucking good. Like, so it's weird because like I paid $60, but I couldn't play the damn game for like a year, until they fixed all the shit. So I don't know. It's weird, but I still feel like I got my money's worth, even though I couldn't have played it for a year.
Dude, you know what's wild? I don't know. Have you guys ever looked at fighting games? So I don't know what's going on with like the fan base to Street Fighter and Dead or Alive, but Those
You going
games,
at it?
they rarely make them. They rarely make Dead or Alive games, but those games are always $40, $60, even years later. I'm like, really? Like, okay, I didn't know that game was in demand, but people are playing it, and the DLC, people will spend $5 for an outfit, and they'll have
It's nuts.
hundreds of these. It's a very expensive game to be into,
Dude,
and then
I mean,
it's
people
crazy.
who are
If
into
that's your-
fighting
if
games
that's
are
your goal.
into fighting
Street
games.
Fighter. How many Street Fighter 4s came out? And then 5s. Street Fighter 4,
Like,
Super Street Fighter 4, Super
We're
Street
not
Fighter
into
Champion.
we're not into the fighting game scene,
And it's
but like
$60?
people who are into the fighting game
to
scene,
fight with the same fucking Ken and Ryu characters? Are you fucking kidding me?
they will buy that shit full price. And
You don't have to stare at the same red Ken outfit over and over and over again.
Oh, but
if you
spend
$6,
you can change his outfit.
Well, listen, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like a season pass or something. Like if you're playing that game constantly every day and you know, there's a $5 outfit. It's not like you're buying $25 outfits at once. You're buying one $5 outfit here, one $5 outfit another day, and then like, I don't know, a $7 character skin, or you know what I mean? So like those people who are playing those games consistently are buying that stuff.
That's
as
what they
it
value.
releases.
Right.
Right.
It's going back to that
Exactly.
thing I said where people are playing World of Warcraft or probably EverQuest still. Because that's what
Oh,
they
yeah.
latched onto.
People put
They love
thousands
it.
of dollars into
And
those games, you know?
They will get married there. They will have all these things, and they will spend the money because they care, because it's all they want. They probably don't play anything else. So yeah, I'm sure there are people out there who are playing those games, and that's their jam. I want to be really good with my character in my outfit, and I'll spend $30 to create the character I want or the 3 characters that I like, and then go online and just jam out in that. At all levels of, like, us, we're the Nomads, right? Like, we literally can't help ourselves. We just are not dedicated to one franchise. So we value our games differently, because we look at that. It's like, what it's like we said with like Game Pass, like, amuse me, entertain me.
Well, it's always the next new thing.
You
Like,
have
we're
5 minutes
constantly-
before I fucking leave and delete you for eternity.
It's like some endorphins go off in your brain when you see that Game Pass graphic
Ah.
on Twitter. It's like, oh shit, what's coming to Game Pass this month? You know?
Nothing
It's-
better than, like, I mean, I used to love just on my way home from work on a Friday night, you stop at Blockbuster, you grab some fast food, you go home, and new game Friday. Like, there's something fantastic about starting up a new exciting game every once in a while. So even the new game smell, that's the one thing I do miss. That
Oh,
straight from
the
plastic,
peeling
not
and
plastic.
opening. yeah.
You just crack that right open, you get a good whiff of that factory plastic. That's good. I did that when I opened the Series X. It just smelled delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh from the manufacturer.
All right. What else? You guys got anything else you want to cover before here? We harped on a
No,
lot of
I'm
things,
just
I
curious
think.
where we're going with like the pricing, and I think it's going to change. I think a lot of things are just coming,
Well-
together right now, and it'll be weird for the next year. But like, look at all the streaming services. Like, we really cannot go on like this. We can't have video game streaming services, music streaming services, and then having movie or whatever. I don't know.
future
TV
state,
show.
like they won't even have
Like
consoles
Netflix.
in the future, and you're just gonna be paying an online
Peop-
subscription service. And
You
it's
do that for
just-
your food, your
it's
clothing.
clouding.
People, right?
You're gonna
You
get
peop-
games from the cloud. You're not gonna have to download them anymore either.
books, audiobooks, everything.
But,
I mean,
everything's being
we're
streamed.
we're in a transition period right now, and where everything's converting to streaming and subscription services. I feel like in the future we will see some sort of consolidation, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because like there's too many streaming services, and like you pay for one streaming service because you want to watch one specific show, like fucking Paramount Plus. I mean, there's nothing on there that I really care about, but like for example, the Halo TV show, if I really wanted to watch that,
I didn't even check it out. And they had
No,
a
I
free
haven't
service.
checked
Like,
it out. Right,
you can
no,
literally
I
watch this
haven't
for
checked it
free.
out yet.
You
All
gotta
right,
watch
maybe.
commercials though. You're like, nah.
Oh, right. Yeah, dude. I would look at my phone probably during those commercials, and I'm like, but don't make me do it. Therefore, I won't bother.
But you gotta, I don't know, like maybe 10 years ago. I don't know how long ago, but like all we were talking about was loot boxes. Like, loot boxes are ruining games. Like, that's how all these free to plays are making money, and we see them shift away from, because everybody thinks that
Turns out, if you just make a game that people
gambling.
really like, they'll give you money willingly.
Yeah. And I mean, we're on a season passes, which I think is an improvement over the old loot box grind that they used to get out of you. But
At
I
least
don't
with
know.
the season
There'll be
pass,
something
you know what you're getting when you pay for it.
yeah,
And that's the
you
thing.
get rewarded for playing. So
Which again is the perceived value. If you think it's worth it to you, then it's
yeah, always remember, cost does not equal quality. I think that's today's lesson. All right,
Yeah.
and price is arbitrary.
absolutely. All right,
And Nintendo's gonna do what Nintendo's gonna do.
They're gonna keep doing their thing.
yeah. Well, they've always done their own thing. I think they've earned it by now. I don't know. They have to be one of the oldest gaming companies at this point, so they do what Nintendo wants to do. All right. Let's take a little quick break here. We're going to come back with a game, and we'll wrap this puppy up right after this. And we are back for Act 3 of the Nomads of Fantasy with a little game here. We're going to call it Nomads Price is Right or
Ooh.
Wrong. But I have a list of games and consoles with their cost at their launch and how much they would cost in the year 2020. So we're fairly close to catching up with our inflation. So I will give you a year, and I don't know. Do you guys want to know the original cost at launch?
I feel like
that could help you out a little bit, kind of narrow it down. But
yeah, because otherwise,
yeah.
like we're just kind of guessing.
Just taking a shot in the dark. Yeah.
Sure. All right. So you guys can both pick out prices. We don't get to pick who goes first, and then whoever is closest, you can go over. I'll just take the difference.
Okay.
And we'll just we'll add up.
So these aren't prices right rules then.
It's Nomads prices, right? It's a little different. We don't got that cool yodeler that goes up the mountain, but we'll make do. All right, our first game console. Actually, we'll do the game for this console. The Atari 2600. Back in good old 1977.
Wow.
Good
The
year.
average game cost of an Atari 2600 game was $39.99.
Wow. In 1976?
77.
77?
Okay.
The console came out at $199.99.
Okay.
So, back in the 70s, this is no joke. And just think you're paying what you're paying for back then. You're paying for blips and bleeps and bloops and little like.
But there was
squares and
nothing
shit.
before it really, though. So
It's true.
You know,
I would
we
say
didn't even talk about arcades today either. That's a whole nother story. But
why would we talk about arcades?
games originated to take quarters from you. Like that was the value. You paid a quarter and you got like a minute to 2 minutes of gameplay out of it.
Yeah, fuck that. I hated it.
Hated it.
It was cool back in the dime, but like nowadays, I don't miss that.
Maybe you're waiting for your pizza at Pizza Hut. You want to play a game of Centipede
For free. Give it to me for free because it's free on my phone.
A quarter or two.
No. I'll say
$99 back in 1970.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's like $79.99, like $80. I'll say $79.99 today.
I am going to say I'm gonna go $10 more. I'm gonna go $89.99.
$89.99.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Giving them a little bit of leeway. You didn't need it. The average game cost today is $170.
Holy
70
shit.
cents.
That's insane.
Which, I mean, you put that in perspective. Like, that's what I was trying to say a little earlier. Like, you're getting things like Asteroids and Adventure and Pitfall, but, the console back then was $199. Average cost today is $853, adjusted for inflation.
That's insane.
$850 for a goddamn console. Like, you think about what you were getting. So, Let's jump a little bit forward in time. We're gonna shake things up and not go in order on you guys, so you don't catch on to my tricks. The PlayStation 1 came out in the year 1995 for a whopping $299.
Mm-hmm.
That standard, that classic gray console with a little flip up top. $299 in 1995. How much would that cost in 2020?
All right. I guess I'll go first this time. Can alternate. So $299 in 1995. I was 1 years old, or maybe less.
Jurassic Park was the shit. Ninja Turtles were the shit.
I'm gonna say it's equivalent to PlayStation's newest console. So $500.
$500.
Yeah,
It's an expensive console.
That's good.
Brandon, over to you.
600.
$300 back in 1995 is the equivalent of $509.
Yeah.
Eric, very close.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which, I mean,
So
puts
they-
it into, like, that's, fairly close to what we have today,
For the new
which
consoles.
is kind of impressive. But, that's...
They've mostly kept up with the inflation then. Although the PlayStation 3 was $599 when they announced it, but that was the whole thing.
That is tough. Yeah, as we got a little closer, you got to think of the games too. Being on disc, I think helped a little bit. The average game cost then was $50. Adjusted for today, it's $85, based on the CDs. But that was a big jump when they got rid of the cartridges. All right, that is another one for Eric. One more, and you are today's big winner. Let's jump back a little bit and go to the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
Ooh.
This one retailed in 1985 for $179.99. I think looking back, like in the 80s, like that's not terrible. So adjusted for inflation today, Brandon, how much do you think a Nintendo Entertainment System would cost in the world?
$340.
$340. All right.
What was it?
Write this down, and I'm gonna have to do some math.
What was the original price? $179?
$180.
180. I'm gonna say it's higher. It's closer to 650.
$650. You fuckers are both making me do a bit of math here. Let me adjust this in my head, and beep, 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 beep. The winner is Brandon here.
Oh, wow.
Today's cost would be $432.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Eric overshot that a little
I
bit.
did.
Brandon stays alive.
Good thing I added that $40 to my...
I know
Useless,
that saved you. Let's jump up a little bit. Let's go to the Genesis. Classic game featured such games as Echo the Dolphin and Altered Beast, and the start of the Sonic franchise, which spawned a number of amazing theatrical releases that are just bound in all of our memories as great movies. Brandon's just staring away. He doesn't want to even talk about Sonic. An average game cost in 1989 was $50. How much would that cost today? $50 for a Genesis game? Like, that seems...
What was the year?
1989.
89 for Genesis.
They're
$50
doing what
you
Nintendo
say.
don't.
$50 you say. Adjusted for inflation by today's standards would be
Sort
about...
of financial expert.
I know, in 2022, everything's so crazy now, too.
I'm going to say that's $83.
$83. Over to you, Brandon.
$84.
Oh, you
Oh,
fucker.
he's cutting them.
Come on.
Cutting them deep.
These are real prices right tactics.
That was a good move right there. Average cost in 2020 is $104.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
More than I
for a
thought.
Genesis game.
Wow.
All right.
Which
I'm trying to
stings
play
because-
fair over here. No, I'm just kidding. It's all
No.
fair. It's all fair.
There's no fairness in Nomads prices, right? Let's see. Let's move a little bit forward. This will be the last one.
It's for all the marbles.
It is for hella marbles.
Marble Madness.
I'm gonna go with a classic. Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
Everybody's favorite console. That thing was I believe it was very underrated in its console life, but
It was awesome. That controller
Absolutely.
is so cool.
Is it 1999?
it came out in 1999, retailed
Yeah.
for $199.99.
Mm-hmm. Which
So-
that was a big thing back then.
It was
'cause
cheap, right?
cheap.
$200. Yeah, considering PlayStation 2 came out at $299,
Mm-hmm.
which is $100 more, and then just completely shit on Sega Dreamcast and took
Oh, yeah.
its lunch and
Ate
put
its
them out of
lunch.
business.
Oh, yeah.
You're done making consoles, Sega. Just so you know. We're here.
Sold 9 million units between 99 and 2001, so that's not terrible, but Sonic Adventure, Soul Calibur, Shenmue all came out on the console. Who is up here? Brandon, you are first here. 1999, it cost $200. How much does this cost today?
$409.
$409. It's comparable with prices of consoles today. How about you, Eric?
Let's see.
Carry the one.
It's
Carry
a
the
tough
one. Move the
I think
decimal
that's-
point over.
I think that's
Yep.
right in
Go.
the.
409.
I think that's right in the range.
25.
I don't want to be. No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be a dick. I do think it's lower than that though, so I'm gonna go with 375.
375 ends up being the closer cost. Cost today is $310.
Really?
Cents.
How does that work?
Wow! Damn.
Well, I mean, it's not as far back, so money hasn't inflated as far. You guys didn't really catch on to the tricks. The consoles that are further back, the dollar went further.
No, I get
It's
that.
inflated
I get
farther,
that.
so-
well, yes.
but
Well, I was trying to think of the PlayStation was only a $200 jump, right? It was $299 to $500.
300 to 500, yeah.
My freaking cat. So I had to assume the jump was similar.
200 to 300,
but not
so-
quite as much.
Yeah.
hmm
I mean, PlayStation 2, it's $390.
But also,
do you have
less
PlayStation
money,
3 on
so
there?
it's less of a
On that list?
Uh,
What is that? Because that came out at like, there was like a $700 option, I think.
the console
But there was two
It was
versions. There was like a
$599.
big
Has
version too.
$599.
launch in 2006 was $499. Cost today is $641.
I thought they had like a crazy version that came with like a heart.
There was a backwards
There was
compatible
definitely a
version.
$599
Remember
$99
Xbox
dollar version.
360 had an elite version snuck in there.
Don't-
It was-
I miss those faceplates.
It was like, it was just big.
Give me the-
Well, if you like, miss those
Bring back
faceplates, get them
those
for your
faceplates.
PS5 that you don't have. They're still doing that gimmick.
that big router looking thing.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, Eric.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a good run. I thought you performed well in that. Actually, it wasn't too
No,
bad.
that was fun.
Yeah, before we get out of here, why don't you give us a run on the socials and we can pack this puppy up.
Sure. Let's put this bitch to bed. I said that.
Whoa, this is a family program.
Well, you said puppy, so I went with yeah. Anyways, if you want to follow us on social, you can follow us at Nomads Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us nomadsfantasy@gmail.com for all your questions, comments, suggestions for topics, games, all that good stuff. You can visit the nomadsoffantasy.com for all your nomad needs. Was there anything else?
Tell a friend about the show. Goes a long way.
Tell a friend. High five a Nomad. Give us a retweet.
All that good stuff.
We'd love to chat. Join the Discord.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
always
join
on
the
there
Discord.
chatting about games and games and
nomadsoffantasy.com/discord if you want to join.
Yeah, we're always out of there. So nice. All right. Well, next week we'll be talking The Last Jedi.
Yes, we will.
So that'll be an interesting one. So until we talk to everybody next, safe travels, Nomads.